The years between the wars saw a huge increase in civil aviation. Partly this was led by the daring exploits of many heroic aviators, whose adventures captured the public imagination. One such was Sir Alan Cobham, who in 1926 had completed 2 epic journeys. The first to Cape Town and back took nearly 3 months to complete. The second to Australia and back, a 28,000-mile round trip, took just 58 days. We see here one of his many visits to airfields around the country, at the Yorkshire Aeroplane Club at Sherborne in July 1929. During the day he took up over 250 school children in a series of short flights, as well as a party of civic dignitaries. Whilst air travel was developing apace, it was still out of reach of the masses, but there were attempts to make it more accessible. One such was the development of the Flying Flea by a Frenchman, Henri Mignet, who during the 1930s toured the country giving demonstrations of his lightweight aircraft, which was powered by a 2-stroke engine and was thus known as the motorcycle of the air. Although it may be credited with being the forerunner of today's microlight aircraft, sadly, Monsieur Mignet's vision of an aircraft for the masses never really caught on. Up and down the country, the cities of Britain were opening airfields and airports wherever they could. Small-scale commercial services developed as well as flying for leisure. Many air pageants, as the forerunners of today's air shows were called, were held, where aeroplanes of all sorts and sizes gathered to be inspected by the public, to offer joyrides, which gave many their first ever experience of flight, and to inspire their audiences with seemingly daredevil aerobatics and choreographed formation flypasts. With this craze for flying throughout the 1930s, it's no wonder so many young men volunteered to join the RAF when called to serve their country during the Second World War. Civic and municipal airports may have been one way to put a town or city on the map, but they took on a greater importance as commercial air transport developed. In total, they created thousands of jobs across the country. Here we see the inaugural flight of the Liverpool-Doncaster-Amsterdam air service, provided by the Royal Dutch Airlines. This auspicious occasion took place only a year or so following the establishment of a regular London-Doncaster service, and here we see a civic party, including the Mayor and Town Clerk of Doncaster, at the airport as the plane taxis in. 15 minutes later, it took off with the VIPs aboard, bound for Amsterdam. New services came and went. Local airlines sprang up to ship both people and, more importantly, cargo, especially the mail, around the country and to and from Europe. But the advent of war brought all of this enterprise to an abrupt end. An important chapter in the history of British civil aviation was closing.